This is Proverbs chapter 14, verse 15. The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 14, that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishop, and elders, a great millstone that rule well, and peace and blessing be multiplied on all you brethren teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect, 144,000, and the rest of the men, women, and children that will receive mercy from the Lord in these last days. Shalom. I'm the brother Dama Gabar, here with another lesson, Lord willing to edify through the spirit and power of Yahweh while Yahweh Shai. And this is going to be a quick lesson, man. And this is why you have to be up on, what's really going on, man. Like we tell you all the time, we're living in the time of mass deception and propaganda, man. And everything that you're seeing, happening around the world, especially from the West, especially from this Trump administration, from the tiny tops, from the powers that be, are drenched and, are drenched in deception, man. All right. And if you're simple, you're going to believe every word, And this is why now, man, it's very hard to believe whatever you see, especially on mainstream news media, whatever you see coming from, the powers that be. Everything that, you hear concerning a lot of these situations that are happening around the world, whether it's the situation with Iran, whether it's the situation with the ICE shit happening here, and, everything you hear about the economy and gold and silver and, anything that's coming forth out of the mouth of this administration, man, more than likely is misleading and should not be trusted and you should be prudent to look into it for yourself, because whatever they're laying out on the table, whatever they're feeding you, man, is more than likely a hunk of shit, man. Remember, we're dealing with the devil here. We're dealing with Satan. We're dealing with, the deceiver, man, a man who is, accustomed to lies, deception, and can go on television and go on his news media and his platforms and completely lie right to your face with a straight face. And he will lie and deceive to get whatever he wants, man. And then turn around and condemn you and curse you out and categorize you for calling out his lies and his bullshit, man. So you need to be very prudent. You can't be, tossed to and fro with everything that's being force fed down your throat or that's being presented to you from this man, because he's a damn demon and a liar. And ultimately, he's looking to deceive you. So I'm gonna play this little quick video about 8 minutes. And this is everything I've been saying in the last few videos that I've been doing as of late, man.
Were you fired from your job and wondering if you can sue? I'm Sean, managing attorney at Top Law Assist. If you
Mossad agents.
Oh, what the fuck? Oh, yeah, there we go. Slack it. But yeah, I'm going to play about 5 minutes. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but just the first 5 minutes of this video is everything that I've been saying in the last few videos that I've done as concerning the whole situation with that Iran and those protesters, man. But like I said, this is not just with the Iran situation and the protesters and America getting involved. It's with everything. The situation with Venezuela, the situation with Greenland is not, you can't just take it for face value what they're telling you what the situation is, man. Even with this whole Minneapolis and this whole ICE situation, a lot of that shit is bullshit. It's drenched in psychological operations and lies and manipulation and distortion and lies to, to mind F the people and to get you to believe a narrative that's ultimately more than likely not true, but that's going to benefit, the powers that be, man. So you got to be not ignorant. You got to be up on game, and you got to understand how this man truly operates, man. So let's play some of this, and then I'm going to close it out, man.
There are two sides to a story. Right. And we're only getting the Israeli side.
Right.
The Israelis are backing Reza Pahlavi. The Israelis are backing these so-called human rights organizations. The Israelis are the ones demanding.
Oh, and fair use, okay? I'm just using this for educational purposes. I'm not benefiting or monetizing off of this video at all. I'm just letting these individuals, speak their piece and give the information and intel that they received, okay?
That U.S. policy be that Iran doesn't have any missiles. So we just have to be very careful.
Well, let's talk about Iran, because there's a lot of reports coming out that Iran is killing their protesters. And somehow, even though it took over a year for the United States to get an accurate count of how many people died on 9/11, then in 5 seconds, they've got an accurate count of how many people are being killed in Iran. But here is Iraqi Christian Foundation says there is no difference between the Iraq war and the current U.S. drive towards war with Iran. Just as with Iran, starvation sanctions were used against the Iraqi population for many years, pre-2003. Western media pushed the same propaganda about Iraq's government pre-war. Neocons became obsessed with Iraq to an evil degree for decades, and terrorists were trained by the CIA to infiltrate and terrorize Iraq pre-war. The Chaldean Catholics being the terrorist first targets. Another forever war may start soon, no different than previous forever wars, something Donald Trump promised he wouldn't let happen. And of course, that's exactly what's happening. And I just want to, real quick, from the gray zone, Western media is whitewashing deadly riots in Iran, relying on U.S. government-funded regime change NGOs. NGOs are non-governmental organizations. So here's the former CIA agent John Kiriakou. He's going to let us know that when they tell you that the Iran is killing their own people right now, and that's being used as the reason why we have to go in, because we care about the Iranian people. That's what this is all about. We really care about them, just like we care about the Venezuelan people, just like we cared about the Syrian people, just like we cared about the Iraqi people, so it's all a big yank. It's the same stupid story. And so here's what John Kiriakou has to say, where they're getting their numbers from. Listen to where they're getting their numbers from, the U.S. media.
Times, CNN, the Wall Street Journal. I looked at them all last night, and they're all saying, oh my God, it's murder in the streets in Iran. Oh my God, this human rights organization is saying, 172 dead. Okay, that human rights organization is based in London, and it's funded by the Israelis and Iranians in exile. And then, oh my God, there's this other human rights organization that's saying 500 dead. Yeah, that one's in Washington, and they take money from the CIA. So you can't.
So there's no reliable information.
There's no reliable information. Now, are people being killed in Iran? Absolutely, yes. But think of this too. Do we know that these people aren't being killed by Israeli-backed protesters? Because the Israelis have been bragging over the weekend that they're the ones backing the protesters. And I'll add another thing that literally no one is reporting. Protesters set on fire 48 fire engines in Tehran. 48 fire engines, so that they cannot respond to fires. Why? Because it's the Israeli-backed protesters setting shit on fire. And this is just to make it worse.
Now, the thing is, okay, so for people who are listening and are thinking, okay, John's being conspiratorial and blah, 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 let's not forget that we know that Iran is riddled with people on the Mossad payroll because of the fact that, they provided the targeting information for the Israeli-U.S. military attacks against atomic scientists and military sites in Iran recently. Right? We know that. We talked about here on the show before any of these protests started about how Iran has a serious Israel problem in terms of infiltration. So I just want to, provide a little context.
All right, Salaki, I just thought of a precept, man. And this is why, man, you keep hearing a lot of these same scriptures come out over and over and over again because we're just in those times, man. And this man is a real demon, man. This is why here it says in Psalm 64, it says they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? You see, in the NLT, they encourage each other to do evil and plan how to set their traps in secret. Who will ever notice they ask? You see, as they plot their crimes, they say we have devised a perfect plan. Yes, their human heart and mind are cunning, and and this is a pure example of how they commune of laying snares privily, and then they'll present it on television as if it's real accurate news, man. And then they'll try to act like they're going into Iran to play the hero and to fix the problem, but they're the ones that created the problems in the first place, man. This man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, the perfect devil, man. He needs a round of applause, man. And then he'll put it on media to present it to you people, and then you get all in your feelings, you get all emotional, and then you be like, yeah, America needs to go in there and set those Ayatollahs straight, and oh my God, it's so bad over there. What's happening? Oh, it's so terrible. Oh my gosh, it's not right. And then then the West are justified to go in there and to play the hero, but the whole goddamn time they were the damn villain, man. You see? But hey, it's beautiful. We're living in times where Esau is being fully exposed, man, and there's nothing that he can do. That's why only thing he's gonna do is just come down with great wrath, man. But like we've been telling you, this man cannot be trusted, man. He's like I said, he can get on TV with a straight face, completely lie right to millions of people and just lie. And you got dumb people that believe it. The simple believe it every word, man. Here we go.
There.
Yeah, I think my point here is to remind everybody that there are two sides to a story. Right. And we're only getting the Israeli side.
Right.
The Israelis are backing Reza Pahlavi. The Israelis are backing these so-called human rights organizations. The Israelis are the ones.
Hey, and it's the same thing happening here with these ICE protests here in America, man. A lot of those protesters, a lot of them are provocateurs, man. A lot of them are paid by the tiny tops and these different alphabet organizations to do particular things, to raise up, to cause more trauma. Remember the whole the Black Lives Matter. Remember the bricks was just out there when the protesters was going to be out there at a particular time. So you cannot be that goddamn dumb and ignorant to see that a lot of this shit is being orchestrated, man. Esau is ultimately setting the stage for these things to happen so he can be justified and passing unrighteous decrees and pushing his agendas, man.
Demanding that U.S. policy be that Iran doesn't have any missiles. So we just have to be very careful.
This settlement check completely changed my life. And it came from a car accident the insurance company said was only worth.
Shut up.
So we just have to be very careful.
So here's one of the things they're not reporting. Western media has ignored a growing trove of video evidence showing terrorist tactics deployed across Iran by protesters, described by Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch as largely peaceful.
So that shows you that Amnesty International and these different groups that they try to prop up as giving you information are brought and paid for by the tiny tops or by or their Western RAND, So these devils have all these different things in their pockets, man, and it's basically them against the people, man. You see? And then, they'll try to, well, Amnesty International, they confirmed, but the whole time they're brought and paid for to give you information that's backed by the powers that be, man. But like I said, this man's, they devised the perfect plan, they say, who shall see us, man? This is why you can't believe anything that's coming out of the mainstream media. And you have to look well to your going, man. You have to really look at alternative news sites. And basically, when you see shit happening in particular parts of the country, it's good to go to their news, to that country and to see their side of the story, as well as what the West are telling you. And more than likely, you're going to come to the realization that whatever the mainstream media is telling you is a goddamn lie, pretty much, man.
Of course. So here's one more. Recent videos published by both Iranian state media and anti-government forces revealed public lynchings of unarmed guards, the torching of mosques, arson attacks on municipal buildings, marketplaces, and fire stations, and mobs of armed guns.
Right. This is why the last video I told you the reason why the Iranian powers that be shut off the internet and all that shit is because that's how those those paid protesters, those provocateurs were sharing information and giving intel sharing to each other, where to attack, where to burn this, to do that, to do this. So they shut down the internet, not because as the West would tell you, oh, they shut off the internet because they didn't want the protesters and the people who are protesting to show you the atrocities and the horrors that they were facing. No, they turned it off because that's how they were able to shut down a lot of the organized protest and crime that these people were doing. You see, this is why they were able to shut down Starlink and to shut down the internet, because they knew that's how they were orchestrating their protest and doing what they were doing. And what did you have Trump say? Yeah, but the protesters keep on protesting. This man's diabolical, man. He's a damn demon, and this is why you can't be tossed to and fro, man. This is why you got to go. You got to be up on game. You got to understand the level of wickedness that you're dealing with when it comes to E.
Opening fire in the heart of Iranian cities. Instead, Western media has focused almost exclusively on violence attributed to the Iranian government. And so who are they relying on? They're relying on the CIA-backed human rights and the NED, which is the National Endowment for Democracy, which is just another cutout of the CIA. And so do you think the American people are going to fall for this again?
Yes. I mean, sadly.
Right. That's why I said the simple believe it every word. A lot of these simple-minded sheeple here in America will, because these people are stupid, They're a lot of these American people are fucking retarded. I don't want to use the R word, but they're fucking stupid, man. They're like the scriptures say, they're simple. They believe everything that comes out of, they believe everything, man. They don't look well till they're going, and this is why they're always going to be duped. They're always going to be deceived, and they're going to eventually find themselves, cornered by this demonic, force.
One thing that's missing there, over 100 Iranian police officers have been murdered by these mobs. Could you imagine the reaction in the United States if 100 cops were killed by mobs firing, weapons and burning them to death? It would be over. We'd mobilize everything and kill everything. There's a war taking place in Iran, but it's a war that's prompted by the Mossad, by the CIA. It's a war that's been planned for some time now. When the protests first started, the first day or two, they were peaceful protests and there was nobody dying. The Iranian government didn't go in to kill protesters. In fact, the president of Iran is very sympathetic to the protesters. I just want to remind people that it was the Iranian protests about that poor Kurdish girl that died in police custody over the hijab incident. And there was violence there. You know what happened from that? Women don't have to wear the hijab in Iran anymore. You can go to Tehran, go to the mall, and they got their hair hanging free, hanging down, running free, because the Iranian president listens to the Iranian people. And when these protests first started, he was walking with them. But then the Israelis moved in their cellular structures, brought out their weapons and started murdering people, burning a 3-year-old girl to death, burning nurses to death, and killing over 100 cops. And so the Iranians responded, shooting at the people shooting at them. And yes, there are dead people, but not in the numbers that are being put out there. I mean, these ridiculous numbers, 12 to 20,000.
Yeah, I'll close it there. But hey, I'll say this last thing. And remember, these ICE agents are being trained by the IDF, these same individuals that are, setting up these, situations over there in Iran. And you see the savagery and the barbarity that they're being trained to unleash on those Iranians, man. And the same people that were doing that and burning a 3-year-old child are training these ICE agents to, do what they're doing here in Babylon. So you better wake the hell up and smell the coffee, man. So with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. And this is from the Jimmy Dore. You can watch the rest of the video. It's good information in there, and do with it what you will, man. But hey, Lord willing, this is edifying. All praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. Until the next one, shalom.